going to have a session here where we talk about search engine optimization for small businesses. And SEO is it's always an interesting topic. It's kind of a moving target over time. The rules keep changing, gets harder. But what we really want to talk about is at a practical level, how are small businesses enabled to do SEO effectively? That's one key question. And another is, how is it effectively brought to market? So those are two issues we want to kind of dive into a little bit. And so we're going to start with Will, actually.
So hi, everybody. Good morning. The thing that we are coming more and more to see is that as Google changes the rules more and more, it's really important for small businesses, especially local businesses, to start looking more like a brand, right? And I think that there's defining factors of how that happens and the things that one can do, and ultimately how we as supporters of those local businesses, particularly with the weight of our brands behind us, can help out. So I've been doing this for a really long time. I really did literally put my first website online in 1994. That's not just hyperbolic BS up here. And we at Search Influence over the span of time have touched something like 30,000 local business websites. So as we all know, the best place to hide a body is on page 2 of Google. When I first started talking to audiences about online marketing, the statistics said that only 20% of people were going to get to page 2, right? And over time, as Google and the other search engines have gotten better about giving us what it is that we're looking for, the stats are now that less than 2% are going to make it to page 2. I think the last stat I saw was like 98-point-something% get what they need on page 1, or they back up, right? Because this is very much like any relationship. What we've come to understand is that if we don't get what we need from Google the first time around, it's because it must be a problem with us. Right? It's not Google. It's not you, baby. It's me. So in the beginning, and I know some of us were there for this, there were these things, right? And I had these delivered to my house very recently, and I, for nostalgia purposes, wanted to pick them up off of the front step and take them in. And my wife did the smart thing and took them around to the recycle bin because they were already out of date about 2 weeks before they went to print, and they're no longer even thick enough to prop up a small child, right? So herein lies the challenge. But it was easy because as a local advertiser, I knew what I had to do. I had to have the right information. I had to tell the story of, reliability, areas served, all of that stuff in an ad that was at the front of that category and hopefully had a nice picture. But now, most of the way that consumers are meeting the businesses with whom they want to work is through the internet. So what's a local business to do? This is the perspective at Google, right? Eric Schmidt, former CEO of Google, said that the internet was a cesspool and that brands are how you sort out the cesspool, right? How's that? Do you know what I say? I say, up yours, Eric. Yeah. Brands, please, right? So they think that we who are helping local businesses are just adding to the cesspool. So this is who they want to trust, right? Let's not talk about the fact that BMW got kicked out of the search engine for cloaking, right? Or that JCPenney got kicked out for buying links, or that we're still cleaning off pelicans down in my part of the world thanks to BP. So, brands.
What did Reese's do?
Reese's? So Hershey's, interestingly, is owned by a conglomerate, which it's owned by a charitable organization, and many of the family members have been embezzling from that organization
and
for
they
years
make
and
Reese's.
years. What's that?
Do they make Reese's?
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just wanted to know what their crime was. Yeah.
The executives at Hershey's are one of them is Reese.
Okay.
Yeah, the guy who sort of came forward.
Got it.
And then obviously, McDonald's, they've been poisoning us for decades. Thank you. Apple, child labor, Nike, poor little Indonesian children. So, this is not the cesspool, right? This is not the cesspool. It's us. It's us and the local businesses whom we represent. So, how do we help her look more like that? Because if you see there over on the side, we've got Yelp, Zomato or Zomato, depending on how you pronounce it, and yellowpages.com, right? Startled, first off, that yellowpages.com still has any relevance. But how do we help her look more like that? Because sometimes it's hard, right? It feels like there's no good way to go when you're in this situation. So,
Yeah.
thanks, Neil. I'm glad to have you here as my. So we've got to help her look more like a brand, right? We've got to do the things that brands do. And what do brands do? They're ubiquitous. They're everywhere, and they're leveraging the authority of third-party sites to get found when people are looking. And that's in search, that's in social, that's in news, that's in TV. It's in all of the places that one typically thinks of brands being represented. And so, yeah, it's hard to go beyond search because Google's got us trained, right? And I've come up with a new philosophy that we need to treat Google like quitting smoking. A lot of people quit smoking by not having that first cigarette until 9 in the morning, not having that first cigarette until 10 in the morning. So I say, let's not use Google until 10 o'clock in the morning and see what happens. See what happens to our lives. So there's a lot of things that you can do beyond search that look like brand, right? Online PR, some of it's free, some of it's paid for, but the reality is to Google it all looks the same. Things like third-party sites. One of the SMBs who was up here yesterday afternoon, a designer talked about how she was getting most of her business from Houzz. And a lot of people still don't even know about Houzz. It's like home design porn, right? I mean, if you want to see these awesome kitchens, cute little houses, it's all on Houzz, and that's where this individual was getting most of her business. And then finally, and this is something that Brian's going to talk more about, video. Yes, we really do have a video that ranks #1 in Google for the phrase, and this sounds particularly funny when it comes out of my well-articulated mouth, bounce like Beyonce. We no longer have this. This is an old shot where we had this giant authoritative video window, but that young lady is helping us to promote a plastic surgeon in Columbus, Ohio. So here's the opportunity, right? And that's what our clients need. And the way that we get them there is to help them look more like they don't belong in Google's cesspool. So thanks. Oh, this presentation, if anyone wants to steal the slides, is at si.ly/BIAK SMB SEO.